Hmm. I am.
Okay. All right. Hello, Daquan. How are you?
I'm doing very well today. How about yourself?
I am doing great. So just want to let you know that the meeting is being recorded. Is that okay with you?
That is fine. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Absolutely. So if anytime you need to take a break during the interview, please feel free. It should only be about 10 minutes long, though. I have provided some water for you. So whenever you need a drink, just feel free to grab that and you could take a drink. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank
Wonderful.
you too.
Absolutely. So, do you want to just start off by telling me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I guess I'll start with, my name, even though we've already spoken it. My name is Daquan Nelson. My friends refer to me as DJ. It's been my nickname my whole life. Right now, I work in the healthcare field throughout the entirety of the COVID. Uh, I guess I'm trying to think of the right word for it, the COVID pandemic. And it's been very trying, but I do feel very good about being able to help people, during these trying times. So hopefully some good karma comes back my way and to the rest of the hospital employees. Do other things too. But that's my main source of income right now.
Okay, very nice. So I'll just start off a little about me. My name is Jessica. I've been with the company for about 3 years now, and this is just a regular conversation. Just think of it like that. I want you to relax. I want you to just be yourself, and we'll get through it. Like I said before, it should only be about 10 minutes long. So, but before we do get started, I want to start with a little icebreaker. So someone asked me this before, so I'm going to ask you, what would you do if you woke up one morning and found an elephant in your backyard?
I don't think I'd change much. When I wake up, I typically pray, and that would definitely be the first thing I did. And ask for some understanding as to why this elephant's in my backyard. But honestly, I'd probably, after my prayer, call animal control and figure out where to go from there.
No, for sure, definitely. I believe my first answer to that was that I would call my dad and be like, I would be so blown that that would be just my call. I'd be like, I'm calling my dad to tell him there's an elephant in my backyard, and then call animal control.
Absolutely. And that's probably more likely of what I would do. Not my dad, but a family member, real quick.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so that was just kind of to get you to relax a little, to laugh a little. So we can get into your resume if you are ready.
I am.
Okay, wonderful. So I do have your resume here. I see that you work for Virtua, a very good hospital. Actually, know that hospital very well. And as an EVS shift lead. So let's start with the leadership question. So as a shift lead, tell me a time where you took the leadership role and kind of applied that to your job.
There's been, numerous examples. One very specific one is about a year. I worked as a shift lead for about 3 years. About a year into it, as a shift lead, you're supposed to have 2 managers working above you. And you pretty much are running the shift, but you have your managers there who are actually running the shift, and you're just doing the work that they want you to do. But at one point, we didn't have any managers, and I do think I did pretty well at my job, well enough that my bosses trusted me to run the shift without any managers at all, just as a lead, and I did that for about 6 months, and I did a pretty good job. I think I did good enough to keep my job. So.
Okay. Can you tell me like one specific instance where you like really took the leadership role, not just, throughout the 6 months?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. A great, for instance, is we used to have, they still have one of the guys there, but 2 young men came in to work around the same time. They were young, able bodies. Typically, when we have young men, we will put them on our trash. Trash is very, very difficult for one person to do. but it was a one-person job. At the time when they came in, it was pretty much my idea, since one of them, the way our hospital works is that you have certain things that you do as an EVS employee. A lot of them involve bleach. One of them couldn't work with bleach at all because he has ulcers in his stomach. So what we did is created an extra, not an extra position, but we allowed him to work side by side with the other young man doing trash, and it made it pretty much, it made the shift more effective. And that was my idea, and the bosses went with it, so that was an example where I actually had a chance to show my leadership skills and show that I was competent, and it ended up working out pretty well.
Wonderful. So your bosses got to see that you at least could come up with ideas as well.
Yeah, I mean, they got to see it before, but this is one of the ones that they actually went with.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right.
You need me to speak loud enough. Sometimes I've been, told that I mumble a little bit.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said, do you need me to speak louder? Because I said sometimes I've been told that I mumble a little bit.
Oh no,
and
that's
I think
okay.
you do, since you asked me to reiterate the question. But
no, you were breaking up. That's why.
Word.
That's hilarious. All right. So let's see. Have you as a program coordinator in October of 2013. Okay, so as a food service worker at Innsbruck Medical Center from June 2007 to 2013.
Yep.
Tell me a time where you had a challenging experience and how did you get through that?
This is funny. So I was, I fancy myself a pretty good employee wherever I go. I try hard. You know what I mean? I don't, bullshit too much. Oh, sorry for cursing. I don't, I don't play around with my work. I'm a pretty good worker. So, my bosses trusted me when I, decided to tell them that other people would be good workers as well. They believed me, because they assume that people will work like me. So I got a buddy hired, and every single time he would come in late, my bosses are looking at me like, why is this person coming in late? Why is this person coming in late? It became a really difficult situation for me because, you can't control what other people do. You can't control when they wake up. But it was something where I was getting blamed for another person's actions. When all I did was make a suggestion for them to hire somebody. It wasn't my idea. I didn't hire them. You know what I mean? So that put me in a really difficult situation. Not that I didn't get through it. That was one of the more difficult situations that I dealt with there. Do you want something more specific to the work as a food service employee?
Actually, that was a good example, but what was the outcome of that? Like, did you, tell your bosses like, hey, I can't really control what he does. Like, how did you get through that?
Yeah, I mean, after about the first 10 times, I let it go for a while, for about, a good, I want to say 10, that's just a nice round number, but at least, more than 5 times they had asked me. And then at one point I was like, I told them like, I can't control when he gets here. I don't talk to this person at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? We come to work at 6:30. I don't call him when I wake up. I'm worried about getting to work. Please stop asking me this and address it. So many words. I said, please stop coming to me with this problem. It's not my issue. You know what I mean? And that worked. And they went to him with the issues. And I'm pretty sure that after they spoke to him, instead of allowing me to speak to him, who's not a boss at all, you know what I mean? He took them more serious, and he didn't end up getting fired or anything. He kept his job as long as he wanted to.
Okay.
He was a good worker. He just came to work about 5-10 minutes late sometimes. But, I definitely got them off my back.
So you just had a conversation with management and you let them handle the situation, and rather you staying out of it, even if it was your recommendation.
Right.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're only going to be maybe about 5 more minutes.
I'm having a good time. So
I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. All right. So I see that you worked as a program coordinator for Wilson Elementary in Washington.
Hmm. Washington, D.C.
Nice. So tell me about how it was dealing with kids, because it seems like you worked from pre-K to fifth grade.
Yep.
Okay, so how is that different from dealing with, the adults in your shift lead position at Virtua and your food services worker position at Inspira?
I will say that that job taught me more about myself than the other job. And the reason I say that is because I've always wanted to teach. But I'm more of a person that if I'm teaching somebody, I need them to be engaged so that they can learn with me as we're teaching. You know what I mean? It's the type of student I was. If I'm in the class and the teacher's asking questions, I want to be engaged with the teacher. That was really hard to accomplish with pre-K to fifth graders. And it kind of I think deterred me from wanting to teach so much because I didn't think that I'd be able to, even K through 12, be able to, get out of the students what I thought I needed to. Not that I couldn't, but I thought that it would be easier to teach in college where every lecture, there's also a rapport with the students and stuff like that if you want it to be. And I think that, it really, knowing that I'd probably have to teach high school and K and all that for a little bit before getting to college really deterred me from really wanting to be a professor and stuff. So maybe one day, but right now I'm kind of, I think I can teach in other ways. You know what I mean? Besides having to be in the classroom with kids and being, frustrated knowing myself. Also, taking work home sucks. So I consider myself an artist and a writer, and I love having a job where when I come home, I can focus on those things and I have to focus on anything else.
Okay, so it looks like you were there for a little less than a year. So during that time, how did you find ways to interact with your students or at least kind of grab their attention?
What, the children?
Yes.
Oh, I was a beast. I was a beast. Great. I was a great, teacher. I was essentially like, so how some jobs. Okay, so for instance, Virtua. I worked Virtua for a while. I still work there, but in our EVS, our bosses were from a contractor company. So at this school, I wasn't hired through the school. I was hired through a contractor company to come in and be like a super gym teacher, essentially where I'm teaching the kids during recess. I'm teaching them how to play properly and safely. And then every other week I would go into their classrooms and play a class game with them where I'm also teaching them a lesson at the same time. But I love doing that. That wasn't what was fun about it though. I got to coach co-ed hockey, co-ed volleyball, and girls basketball. And I realized that whenever I'm ready, I can definitely be a coach. I had the kids out there really performing. I really thought that, but other than that, I always had their attention. I think they probably still remember me. It was in 2013. It's probably 9 years ago. So I think I had a positive effect on those kids' lives. I think that some of the girls will be, basketball players forever. I wish I knew, how they were doing and stuff. And if I would have kept, sorry, this is like an emotional thing for me, a little tiny bit, you feel me? Because I know that I could have changed them kids' lives for the better. You know what I'm saying? And I got selfish and, decided to work on myself instead of, actually maybe doing what God was calling me to do. But that's a whole nother conversation. But one thing I will say is that, I don't know, it's just, I really think that they would have been better for having me in their lives. You know what I'm saying? And, I'm sad that I couldn't muster up the strength and courage to stick with it, instead of becoming a part of America and doing what I had to do for money and stuff like that.
I do find that in life, we sometimes have to work on ourselves to even help others. So, sometimes being selfish it's not all that bad. It sounds bad,
Right.
but sometimes you need to kind of progress in life and to even help others in life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, I do.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. It's a good question. Thank you.
Thank you. So that concludes all of my questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, absolutely, I do. Um, what are, I guess, how do you think that you would have fared as a teacher had you had to, teach kindergarten and fifth graders? Do you think you would have had the patience for it?
Um, I have a very strong love for children, and anyone under
Right.
18 for me is like my baby. So I actually, funny story, I used to work for a daycare and
Nice.
for Methodist Home for Children, and we ranged from infants to 3-year-olds. And I could say that there were some days where, I was like, whew, I am tired, especially because we dealt with a lot of children with special needs. So, I had
Yep.
a student there who had autism. And, he was with all the other 3-year-olds. So, you're trying to keep them engaged, keep the other
Right.
kids engaged, and kind of keep them all together. And it was trying at times, but the best thing about it was that they're kids, and I love kids so much. So it kind of made it okay, you know.
Right.
Um, I
Like you're
always,
getting paid to watch.
yeah, and kids are funny. They say some
What?
crazy things.
Funny ain't the word. They funnier than Facebook
Yeah,
and Instagram. Yeah, I
they're
mean, like
hilarious. Yes. I
that's where you
love
find the
watching
real
those
comedy at.
videos on Facebook where like they're just saying outlandish things, or even like the ones where they're crying over like crazy, non-important things. Like I love watching those videos.
Right.
So, you know,
Right.
in my head, I'm like, I don't have the patience, but I've been there before and I loved it. And it was
Yeah,
really good.
and you actually do know you have the patience. Just like, is this really what I want at this moment for my life?
Yeah, I can get that.
It's so crazy because it's crazy because if I could teach one kid to become, if I could tell one kid or get one kid to know that they could become president, right? Especially a kid of color. I feel like that's almost just as important as whatever I do with my life. You know what I mean? But since I only have one, it's like, where do I draw the line between how selfish I'm going to be and not? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think I've been working on with myself for a while. But I'm ready to come back out. You know what I mean? For instance, like I get very nervous, right? But for George Floyd, I'm a writer, so somebody asked me to write a poem. I'm going to do that because it's something I super care about. You know what I mean? So I super care about kids, so it's not off the table that I'm not going to go back and teach and stuff like that. I just want to be established. I don't want to teach for a living. You know what I mean? I want to teach for fun. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And a living. You want to teach for fun and make money.
Yeah, but it'd be better if I could just do it voluntarily because I already have enough money. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you like the
That would be
volunteer work.
awesome.
I like that.
Yeah, of course.
Wonderful.
Check
And
the resume. Check the resume. So,
did you have any more
oh
questions
my
for
God.
me? Oh, sorry.
No. Well, no, I don't. I guess
Okay.
you did a great job with the interview.
Say it
You
again.
know what I mean? I said you did a great job with the interview.
Thank you.
Is this something that you're planning on doing? Are you planning on going into journalism or, interviewing people for a living? Because I think you'd be very good at it.
Well, this is my job to interview people for a living.
Oh. I wasn't sure if this was. I wasn't sure if this was and no disrespect intended. I wasn't sure if this was a school thing or if it was if this was part of your paid work. You know what I mean? I imagine that you probably juggle a lot of jobs. You know what I mean? So
Thank you for that.
as
I
we all do.
appreciate the cleanup on that.
Yeah, I try.
All right. Well, it was super nice meeting you.
Definitely.
And thank you for your time.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm on IG at DJ NJ10. I'm not sure if that's on my resume, but maybe follow me. You'll see some of my artwork, and then maybe I can follow you back.
Got it.
Gotcha.
Thank you so much, Daquan.
You're welcome. It was very nice meeting you, and hopefully I'll get to talk to you again.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.